There is a moment, not a dramatic one, not a loud one, just a quiet, almost invisible moment, when a person realizes something terrifying. They've been alive for years, but they haven't actually been living. For some people, this realization hits at 18. For others, at 40. And for many, it never arrives at all. It usually starts with a small question, almost too soft to notice. Is this really my life? Maybe you ask it while driving the same road you've driven 1,000 times. Maybe you ask it after a conversation that felt scripted. Maybe you ask it after scrolling for hours and suddenly noticing how much time disappeared. But once the question appears, something changes, because the question doesn't go away. It lingers, it scratches, it demands an answer. And then, for the first time, you look at your life not as something you are living, but as something you are watching. Like a movie you didn't choose, a routine you didn't design, a story that doesn't feel like yours anymore. You start seeing the truth. You wake up at the same time, in the same room, with the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, living the same day you lived yesterday. You call it normal. But it's not normal. It's a loop, a comfortable, predictable, numbing loop that keeps you alive, but stops you from living. And then you realize something even darker. You didn't create this loop. It was given to you by parents, by teachers, by your environment, by society, by fear. You didn't choose who to become. You responded to what others expected you to be. And that's when the real awakening begins. You didn't choose who to become. You responded to what others expected you to be. And that's when the real awakening begins. Because once you see the loop, you can't unsee it. You begin to notice how much of your life is made of habits, not choices, patterns, not decisions, fear, not freedom. You realize you've been operating on a script handed to you before you were even old enough to decide if it fit you. A script that tells you when to wake up, what to believe, what to fear, what success looks like, what happiness should mean, and what kind of person you're allowed to be. The most dangerous thing about this script, it feels normal. So normal you never question it, until one day you do. There is another life running parallel to the one you're living right now. A version of you that never settled. A version of you that followed curiosity instead of fear. A version of you that didn't silence dreams because they didn't seem practical. A version of you that wakes up with excitement instead of dread. This version of you exists, not in fantasy, not in imagination, but in possibility. The life you're living is not the life you're stuck with. It's the life you tolerated, and what you tolerate becomes your prison. Meanwhile, the life you truly want, even if you've never admitted it out loud, waits on the other side of a decision you've been avoiding. Not a big decision, not a dramatic one, just a single, simple, uncomfortable choice. To stop living on autopilot. Most people never escape the loop. Not because they're incapable, but because they're comfortable. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. It doesn't attack you. It seduces you. It whispers, "You're fine. You don't need to change. You have time. Later. Tomorrow. Next week." And you believe it, because believing it is easier than challenging it. But here's the truth. Comfort doesn't protect you. It traps you. It keeps you small. It keeps you predictable. It keeps you asleep. And the longer you stay asleep, the harder it becomes to wake up. If you look closely, you'll see something uncomfortable. Your life is not controlled by your goals. Your life is controlled by your fears. Fear of failure. Fear of embarrassment. Fear of judgment. Fear of change. Fear of uncertainty. Fear of trying and not being good enough. Fear of losing what you have. Fear of wanting more. Fear makes your world smaller. It narrows your options. It shrinks your dreams. It convinces you to choose safety even when safety is killing you. You don't avoid taking risks because you're lazy. You avoid taking risks because you're terrified of what happens if you don't succeed. But here's the paradox. Not trying guarantees the worst outcome. Not deciding is a decision. Not choosing is a choice. Not acting is an action. And every day you wait, you drift further away from the life you were meant to live. There is no right time to start living. There is only time, and it's running. Every day you live the same way, you're choosing the same future. Every day you avoid your potential, you're voting for a smaller life. But today, you notice the loop, and that alone is the beginning of freedom. Because once awareness appears, autopilot breaks. Now the question is simple. Do you go back to sleep? Or do you wake up and take control of your story? Not someday, not eventually, not later. Because your life is happening with or without your permission. But your future? That's still in your hands. The next move is yours.